Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chad with CoursesReviewed.com. Today I want to talk with you about the 5 essential takeaways I got from the Sam Ovens course. If you don't know who Sam Ovens is, he's a young entrepreneur who has grown a consulting company. His website is consulting.com to over a $30 million annual business. And I have taken his Consulting Accelerator course. And this course is designed to take you from nothing to a 6-figure, 7-figure, maybe even an 8-figure consultant. And I know that sounds a little difficult to believe, but there are students of his that are doing it, and he's done it for himself. Sam started out working in his parents' garage. He decided to quit his job. He worked for a company called Vodafone in a cubicle, and he thought to himself, is this it? This is what success is at $40,000 a year? He's from New Zealand, by the way. So he quit. He started working in his parents' garage, and for the first year that he worked full time, like every day for 8 hours, maybe more. He didn't get a single customer, not a single customer, but by living in his parents' home and working out of the garage, he was able to reduce his costs and continued on. And the guy was just super persistent. And that second year, he really started making some money. And it's really interesting, going through the course. This is not a review of the course. I'm going to make a separate video showing or detailing my review of the course. First, I have to say that I think the course is really good. It is priced high. Okay, you should know that. It's priced a couple $1,000s, which is on the high end for, a course on consulting. But if you could make the kind of money that Sam suggests you can make, it's worth it, right? So let me give you my 5 takeaways on the course. This is the first one that really hit it home for me. And it sounds very common sense, but a lot of people don't follow it. And it's to make sure the market wants your product. There's so many people that create businesses around things that they like, but not necessarily things that people want. So this piece of wisdom is something that I think intuitively people know. When you create a business, you need to create an offering, a service, a product that people actually want. And there are cases of this going on all the time in business and with people. And so what Sam suggests is you need to talk to your market. Before you even start the business, of course, you're going to come up with an idea. And then you're going to contact the people that may want your product. And you're going to question them and ask them if they want it. Now, you could also do it like this. This is really the way Sam suggests. You call up somebody in a marketplace. Now, I'll tell you Sam's story. So after Sam tried some businesses and failed at them, he lost $30,000, and he decided, I'm going to go a different tact on this. I'm going to go a different approach. So he called up property managers where he lived in New Zealand, and he said to them, what is the greatest source of pain in your business, in what you do day to day? And they said, well, when we close out a property, it's a very difficult, time-consuming process. We have to take pictures, we have to create a report, and it could take 45 minutes to an hour, and we hate doing it. So Sam said, well, what if I can create an app that you can use on your phone that could do it for you in 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Would you buy it? And they said, yes, they would. Now, keep in mind that just because a customer says yes, oops, phone call. Okay, sorry about that. I was disrupted with a phone call, but I've put that phone on mute. Okay, so if you don't get a yes from your customer, then it's pretty much a no. So even though the customers said that they would like to purchase that, it doesn't count until the customer actually gives you the money. Remember that. Just because a customer says yes doesn't mean it's a yes until they give you the money. So Sam was able to pre-sell the idea to a couple of businesses, and that helped fund his expenses to create the app, which he did. And it went on to be a success, and eventually Sam sold it. It was called Snap Inspect. But that was a revelation for Sam. And so if you're going to think about starting a new business, really take that to heart. I would do the same. I would contact the people in your industry or the industry you're looking to start in and find out their greatest source of pain, or find out if they have any use for the idea that you want or the product. See if they will pay upfront for it. If they do, then you know you have a valid idea. Okay, number 2 is to be the person or customer you want to have. Now, this came from week, I believe it was week 2 of Sam's course. There's 7 weeks. And in the first week, he was basically setting you up for the foundation of the course. The second week is all about the psychology. And Sam said that really life is metaphysics. And there's like a hidden sort of fabric behind reality in which everything is connected. I know that sounds maybe woo-woo, but really it is. I believe, well, personally, I believe the universe is a simulation. And if it is a simulation, that everything is really one, but it's an illusion that we're separate. Sam says something of the same thing in his course. Now, while he doesn't get all hokey, what he's basically saying is, if you act a particular way with your client or someone, then they're going to act the same way with you. So here, let me give an example. So if you pick up the phone and talk to a sales rep and you're sarcastic with them and you're obnoxious and you're curt and impatient, then you can expect the same thing if you have a business and you talk to your customers, they're going to be the same way to you. So it's kind of like the golden rule, do unto others as they do unto you. And it's not just like that for how you're treated, it's like that for everything. So if you cheat the system will cheat you. If you are always unhappy and look at the negative side, then the unhappy negative side is always going to try to find you. And Sam talks about this in detail, and really it's a revelation when he talks about it. I'm not doing it justice, but I'd have to say that this was really important to me because it just goes to show you can't go around doing anything you want to anybody because it's always going to come back at you. It's the law of karma. And I'll give you an example. Sam was flying, and I talk about this. By the way, guys, I wrote a long blog post on this whole video, and I'll put the link below. But Sam was flying on an airplane, and he wanted to stream a movie, which he did, and he was able to stream it for free. And when he landed, okay, he immediately went to Amazon.com and he bought the movie. Now, he already watched the movie. He didn't think he was going to watch the movie again. And so probably 90% of people out there, 95% of people would not even do what Sam did to go buy the movie. But he did. And he said the reason he did it was because he would never want somebody to not pay for his course. So he believes if he always pays for everything, then he'll attract the same type of customers that always pay for his stuff. I thought that was really interesting. Well, number 3 is that sales is a learned art and don't chase customers. Now, what Sam means by this is that even though, for instance, Sam is an introverted, shy, and soft-spoken type of guy, it doesn't mean that he can't be a great salesperson. Salespeople, many people think that they're born, not made, but actually they are made. Sales is a learned art. It's something that requires time, effort, and some study to get good at. But Sam has an awesome, probably the best sales script I've ever seen in his course. And he said he's read about 50 books. He studied the top salespeople, and he's taken all that knowledge and he's put it together into his course. And I believe, looking at that information, that anybody can review it and use it to boost their sales by 10 times, 100 times. And the more you practice, the better you get. I hear on Sam's, he has a question and answer on his Facebook group where people call in and ask questions. And they'll say, hey, I did a strategy session, which is basically sort of a call or a video call where you're talking to a prospective client. And someone will say, I've had 25 calls and nobody bought anything yet. And he'll say, do 50, do 100, do 1,000. So more, keep going. So the more that you fail, the more that you're likely to succeed. And it's the same thing with sales. It's something that most people try and they don't get success in the beginning. We want that instant gratification and then we just give up. But I feel, and I've done this for myself because I used to read sales books back in the day. I had Advanced Selling Strategies by Brian Tracy, and there were so many great tactics in that book, and I used them to make a lot of money selling cars back in the day. So that is really important, is that sales is a skill that you can learn. It doesn't matter who you are or how you are, you can learn sales. Now, the other part about it is don't chase customers and don't follow up with them. Because if you follow up with customers, you're going to seem needy. And I know this seems contradictory to what a lot of sales books tell you, where you're supposed to follow up. And if you're a salesman at a company, often they want you to follow up over and over and over with that customer. But the way Sam's program, the Accelerator Consulting Program works, is that you put out Facebook ads or you do organic outreach. You attract people who are interested in what you're offering, and then you create a strategy session. So a strategy session, like I said, is a phone call or it's a video call. And if the person doesn't say yes in that call, it doesn't mean that they won't buy from you later on, but the chances are very low. So if they don't buy there, then it's really a no. And what some people do is they make the mistake of trying to follow up and follow up and follow up. And there's no need for that because there's always new people coming into the pipeline if you have your organic outreach correct and if you're doing the Facebook ads. It's far better to focus on those newer people than to try to convince somebody who didn't want to initially sign up. And if they didn't initially sign up, it could have been because your sales pitch wasn't good enough. It could have been that they didn't see the value in what you had, or maybe they, for some reason, they didn't want to. Whatever it is, you'll never know for sure unless they absolutely tell you. It's always best to go on to the next customer. So don't chase the customer. Number 4 is that social media is largely a waste of time. Now, I've known this because I don't use social media much. I love YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel, as you can see here. And I also have one for my tennis. I'm a tennis instructor. I have a tennis channel, which is it's called Serve and Volley Tennis, if you want to look it up. But social media is something that really wastes a lot of people's time. Like going on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, looking at pictures, looking at posts. These are all things that don't move the needle forward. They're just wasting your time. It's very similar to watching TV. It's addicting, and too many people are getting caught up in it. And what it's doing is it's impeding your progress. So Sam basically does no social media with the exception of his YouTube channel. And I think he used to do Instagram stories. And he does the Facebook ads. And he has like a Facebook page. But he says his social media is like 10% of everything that he does. He focuses about 90% of his time and effort into his courses, which provide the most value to his customers. I do think his YouTube videos are amazing, and I think he gives a tremendous amount of helpful information. And I love listening to them. And he also has a blog, and so I do read some of those posts. But if you're the type of person that goes on social media, and you may not even be aware of it, you got to cut that out if you want to succeed, because it's completely wasting your time. If you want to do social media just to post, to promote your business or yourself, that's different. But even still, you don't want to put too much time into it. You want to do some direct outreach. You want to make a Facebook page. Sam said the only reason that he did social media was that so people could see he's a real person. People thought he was fake. They thought he was a lizard. They thought he used a green screen. It's funny. So that's one of the reasons why he did social media, just so people could be aware of him being a real person. So in my life, social media was never something that I was big on. I do feel it's a huge waste of time. The most productive times for me is when I wake up in the morning, I don't turn my phone on, and I can just sit down, work, write blog posts, make videos, review courses, and then I'm moving the needle forward because I could look, and by the 2:00 p.m., I've already created 2 videos in the blog post. Whereas when you get caught up with social media, literally like an hour can pass and you're on Facebook looking at nothing. So guys, get rid of social media if you can. Go on a social media fast for a week. It'll change your life. Now, the last one is to create a routine and stick to it. Now, this is something that I've been able to do in the past, and I've gotten away from it. And I've gotten away from it for a few reasons. One is because my schedule is changing a lot in the morning, and sometimes I just have to be up and go to work, and sometimes I don't. And I go to bed at different times. And it just works for me, but Sam believes that a routine is best because it eliminates a lot of waste. And I do have to agree with him. Creating routine is super efficient. And Sam has a routine where he wakes up, he goes to the gym, then he showers, he meditates, he may have a smoothie, and then he's right into his workday at 9 o'clock. And he wakes up at 6:50, he does all that stuff, and he's into his workday at 9, and then he works until 9 o'clock in the evening with like a half an hour for lunch. And so he has this particular routine, and he goes to bed about 11. And by having this routine, he's able to systemize everything in his life. And what he does right after he finishes work at 9 p.m., he spends about 15 minutes planning the day for tomorrow. And that way, he knows exactly what he has to do when he wakes up. And I've made a schedule before. Like, I started with a to-do list, and a to-do list was okay. But what I noticed is I was kind of haphazard all over the place. I was like, okay, maybe I'll do this one now. And then I got distracted, and I was like, I'll do this one later. But when you have a schedule of like 6:30 to 7, meditate, 7 to 7:30, shower, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, breakfast, you just, as you go along like that, it makes it tighter, and you know when you start wasting time. Once you start going past your schedule, you can see that's when you're wasting time. Because often, like days, especially if you work at home, like you're an entrepreneur like me, hours can pass like nothing. And all of a sudden you look up at the clock, like I'm looking right now, it's 1:09 p.m. And I started working something like 8:45 this morning. And the time just goes so quickly. So really, look to create a routine for yourself. People like Dan Locke, Charles No, Stephen James, these people also use routines. It's extremely productive, and Sam believes if you can't create a routine, then you just have no discipline in your life. So I hope that these 5 takeaways really help you in your life. Try to include them in your life, in your business, and you're sure to see some improvement. If you want to check out Sam's course, I'll put the link below. Don't forget to go to coursesreview.com to check out my blog post. What I do is I basically review online courses, and I also give you a lot of helpful tips and hints to grow your own business and improve your life. All right, see you in the next video.